o'clock on the East Coast. It is 5 o'clock on the West Coast. It is the 27th of June in the year of our Lord 2024. Season 14, episode 35, 669 times. You have been welcome to the Clubhouse Podcast. We are so happy that you are with us, whether you're live on Facebook Live, live on YouTube, live on Twitch, whether you're checking out a replay, whether you're checking the audio on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, or on Apple Music, or on, we already said Apple Music, Amazon Music. We're just happy you're here. Welcome. My name is Rob. I am the executive producer of the Clubhouse Podcast. Oh, is it summer? But we'll talk about that later. Let's bring in the boys, shall we? Because I ain't doing this by myself. Chabooya. To my left, that way, I'll give it to bend my arm all the way around. He is my co-host and a man whose shirt almost matched mine tonight. He is Alex. Hey, man.
And I had to pivot because it is now summer blockbuster season, so had to go with the originator and bust out the Jaws.
I was going to say you probably need to show it to the camera because I can't see it right now.
Oh, I just said it, Jaws.
Oh.
It's just the old one sheet.
And at the bottom of your screen, he is back. He is the official fact checker of Sooner Gator Productions. And we are really going to work in the off season on getting his stuff straightened out. You look very, very bleached out. It's because of the big light above you. Mm-hmm. It's like overshining your face. But we'll fight through it. You may know him as Igbunu, but his mama named him Don Ford. I'm going to call him Don Ford. Hey, man.
First off, I'm back.
You are back. Indeed.
It was in Montana, saw Mom.
Mm-hmm.
When I arrived here, I could tell the difference in the weather big time when I got back.
Yeah.
And the people in April and in March who were complaining about all the rain, I hope you're happy.
Don, I have had no more than 7 conversations in the last week and a half of people in your second home of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, telling me, oh, it's a heat wave. It's going to get to 94. And I'm like, you are adorable. Yeah. And it's trying to explain to them, like, one of my former coworkers is a coworker at this company. And she was on a meeting with me the other day. And she was like, she lives in Boston now. And she's like, no, you guys don't understand. Listen to what this man is saying. But yeah, it's just, man.
I know. And people in April were complaining about all the rain.
Yeah. Let's get into it. First of all, congratulations to the University of Tennessee Volunteers. Their men's baseball team gets their first. I still got softball from last week on my brain. They are the first number 1 seed to win the College World Series in a quarter of a century. All I know is I had $100 on the team from the SEC, and I think I did okay as they beat Texas A&M. So congratulations to Tennessee. It's their first as well in baseball. So good job by them.
Yeah, the interesting thing is I had nothing to really root for inherently in this, but I saw 2 SEC teams and I was all about it. And then I saw a reason that I was going to be rooting for Texas A&M for the first time in my entire life. And now I'm actually just happy Tennessee won. But, shout out to Jeff Kent and the family. Always a good dude.
And now they don't have a coach. Did you see that whole thing, that whole saga?
No.
Yeah, that's getting a little weird. I don't know if you have seen some of the... No, have you seen the blurbs that are coming out from the players?
All I know is he came out and said, somebody asked him about the vacancy at the University of Texas. He kind of went off on the reporter, and then the next day was like, oh, by the way, I am leaving for Texas. So,
no. The quote that I loved that they used was, I took the Texas A&M job because that's a forever job. And less than 24 hours later, it wasn't.
Unreal.
But you have all of the Texas A&M players coming out because he left, took the entire coaching staff, and the players were like, I don't know if you all understand. We won in spite of that dude, not because of him. And it's like, I have never seen the vitriol coming from college players. And I will say this, none of them have said anything so outlandish to cross the line that makes me think they have some bearing.
1 second, I'm pulling something up that I should have done in pre-show.
Well, and there's the center fielder who had the stones to say, you know what? You can quote me on it. Print it. That man was never anything remotely positive towards me. And it's like,
Oh, wow.
Now, that's not a direct quote. I'm paraphrasing. So
We also have another champion in another sport, and my blood pressure today finally went back to normal. Florida gave up more losses in this round almost than they gave up in the entire playoffs.
you mean more
Going
goals?
into the Stanley Cup, no, more games. They had
Oh, you
more
mean they had
losses.
more losses in this. Yes.
Yeah.
But they also gave up more goals.
Yeah. I mean, we got there.
Yeah.
I love that the cup was at the Elbow Room the next day. And if you know anything about South Florida, the Elbow Room right on Fort Lauderdale Beach is older than me. So I at one point, I actually, my original co-host, Cody Hawkins, he loves Miami Vice, big Miami Vice fan. And there was apparently an episode where they referenced the Elbow Room. So I bought him a tank top from the Elbow Room while I was down there. But yeah, congratulations, Florida. I love what the Hard Rock did on the big guitar screen thing. That was pretty dope. South Florida now has championships in all four sports, all four major sports. And a lot of people think FC may be next.
Did you see what Kachuk was doing at the Elbow Room?
I saw so many pictures.
He was pouring drinks to people below out of the cup from the balcony.
I saw somebody put a post up that's like, the cup is in the ocean. I hope that's a replica. I'm like, do not Google what happened to the cup when it came to Dallas. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you know what? Here's the funny part. That's not even the worst thing I've heard happen in that cup.
It's that, but Dallas's run, because for those of you that don't know, when you win the Stanley Cup, every member of the team gets it for a day. ESPN did a promo with, who was it? I think it was Jamie Langenbrunner. And his whole promo with the cup is he's in a barn laying on hay, making out with a girl, and the cup is just right next to him. And I was like, that is amazing. But yeah, I mean, Florida is now the South Florida is living its best life today. I am so happy that Florida won. Friday night, I was out watching Doc's Foreigner tribute band, Double Vision, during Game 6, and I was with Phil and Shannon. I just kept looking up. 3-1. Yeah. 4-1. I'm like, Game 7. I'm like, I don't want to be part of history. I don't want to be team to give up a 3-0 lead in the Stanley Cup Finals and lose.
That would be the second team.
Oh, is it? I thought in the NHL
was basketball we were talking about that it's never happened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in hockey, it happened once in the 1940s when 40s. Toronto won.
Yeah, one time in the Cup Finals.
Yes.
Not counting part, but in the finals. So.
And now we get to hear all the old heads complain that the cup is still below the Mason-Dixon line.
And our favorite little statistic that we learned in the past 6 months still exists.
Yep.
What's that?
American team.
Go ahead, Alex. Go ahead.
Oh, no, feel free, Rob.
No, you actually brought it up. So
okay. So Don, I guess you weren't with us at this point, but it's just amazing. So bear with me, all of the attention. A football team from the United States of America has won the Canadian Football League trophy more recently than a Canadian team has won the Stanley Cup.
It's been what 20-something years?
And that is called the Grey Cup, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, the Grey Cup, but it was the Baltimore Stallions, I believe.
Shout out to Mike in the chat room. He said he had a busy day, but he wanted to pop in to say hello. But I got one more item for you guys before we move away from NHL. Alex, I believe you mentioned this last week. I now have photo evidence of this, and I am here for it. Don, I don't know if you saw this announcement, but a certain NHL team is kicking it old school next year. Allow me... And I saw the video intro for it today, and I was like, ah! So allow me to show you what you're going to see next year in the NHL. Chabuya.
Oh, mighty
That is slick.
That it is.
I dig this in the biggest of ways.
Well, and I appreciate them going with the competition orange over the green and the teal. But it works.
Don, what are you thinking?
orange. I still like the kind of the original, like the blue or green and stuff that they had. I'm not a big fan of that orange like that.
I think it looks slick. And if you watch the video and they piece it all together, oh, it looks so amazing.
Wait. I have to ask the question. Don?
Yeah.
Is there a level of this that it kind of looks like Cleveland Browns orange and you're not allowed to like it?
I'm just not a big fan of orange things.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Is there a baseline of you just lifelong hating orange because of teams?
If it was that, it would actually go back to high school where the senior Bronx, the other high school, they wore orange. They were black and orange.
Okay, so you've hated orange even longer than the Browns.
Yeah, no, but no,
Mike, good call.
I mean, there's plenty of orange teams out there. I just, for a thing like that, I'm just not a big fan. You know, I think the other colors, like the white with like the blue and brown and green, I think that's better. That's just my opinion. You know, for what it's worth.
Let us get into the only thing we officially now have, which is Major League Baseball talk, because we're not talking about the NBA draft, which I don't know that they've ever preempted. Like they've preempted Around the Horn and PTI for 2 days because of the draft. And I don't know the NBA draft has ever preempted them.
Nah. I agree with Mike. Purple is a top-notch color for teams.
All right. In the AL East, the Toronto Blue Jays. We love talking about the American League East because the Toronto Blue Jays are 7 games below 500. And they're 14 and a half back in the division. This division blows my mind on a consistent basis this season. They are 3 games back on Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay now 3.5 back on Boston, where your cousin lives. Boston is 7 back on Baltimore. Baltimore now 1 game back on the Yankees after the Yankees have dropped 3 in a row. Now, gentlemen, I'm going to give you this number. Baltimore Orioles currently have a run differential of plus 110.
Okay.
They are 13 ahead of the Yankees in that category. Put a pin in it. In the AL Central, the Chicago White Sox, you know where this is going.
Oh, no.
They're 31 and a half back in the division, and it's not even July. They are 16 and a half games behind Detroit. The Tigers are now 6 back on the Royals. The Royals are now 1.5 games back on Minnesota. The Twins now 7.5 back on Cleveland. In the AL West. Oh, Don, another thing I'm sure you haven't been able to catch up on the show, so let me catch you up on something. I have officially put my name for Oakland's name when they move to Vegas.
Okay.
Even though there's been some instability to it now since our last show, and I'll tell you why here in a minute. I want to call them the Las Vegas Diamonds.
Okay.
Because
the slot machine and like
what's a baseball field, Don?
A diamond. But I think of the diamonds on the wheel of the slot machines and stuff.
Yeah, and they're in Vegas.
Yeah.
On the
I was
car.
thinking more like you're thinking of the slot
WNBA team is the Aces.
It
They're WNBA team. Yeah. But Oakland is 17 back in the division. They're 6 back on, and Don, I got the good board back. They're 6 back on. Law. I'll let it ring out. Law is 3.5 back on the Rangers. And just for the record, Rangers, middle of the pack. Run differential is -8. The Rangers are 3 back on Houston. Astros 4.5 back on Seattle. In the NL West, the Colorado Rockies, they're pretty bad. They double their win total. They got 1 game above 500. They're 23 back in the division. The They're 11 back on San Francisco. The Giants are only a half game back on Arizona. And Don, Arizona is the reason my name for the Vegas team. It probably won't work because you already have the Diamondbacks.
Right.
But we'll see.
I can see that. Well, I mean, it's worth a try, you know.
They could just rename them the Coyotes. Nobody else is using it. Arizona 3 back on San Diego. The Padres now 8.5 back on Misty's beloved Dodgers, who have won 4 in a row. Did you see the Bat Boy?
The 35-year-old Bat Boy.
Look this video up if you haven't. I don't know how well video is going to translate through this, Don. We'll have to experiment with that sometime.
I saw it, but he's been.
Yeah, I mean, just watching Shohei's eyes get this big around, who, by the way, slapped one 455 feet on Friday night.
Okay, for the record, even if you've watched the video, I want you to watch it for something else. And I've noticed this, and nobody else has mentioned it. So, Bat Boy, in brief, spoiler alert, saves Shohei on a foul ball.
With cat-like reflexes, by the way.
Wait. Don't watch the Bat Boy. Don't watch Shohei. Watch the left side of the screen, because immediately after Shohei realizes he's okay, the interpreter comes up like, oh my God.
I mean, just the reflexes of that dude. Just got it. Like, yeah. I was, oh. In the NL Central, the Cincinnati Reds, they are 10.5 back. They're tied with the Cubs, and both of them are 2 back on your Pittsburgh Pirates. Don, your team is driving me crazy.
Why is that?
Because I'm going to Pittsburgh week after next.
Okay.
I fly in on Monday. They're playing a day game against Alex's Mets. I won't get there in time, and then they leave on a road trip.
Oh, no.
Again.
But one side of my floor does face right into the stadium, so I might be able to watch a little bit of the game with the Mets.
That's cool.
But still.
I know, Pittsburgh. To go there and go to see the stuff from Andy Brothers and the thing. Nice. It's one of the best ballparks in the league. I mean, it's beautiful.
It's been a long time since I've been there, and it's still high on my list.
Yeah.
And your pitcher needs to shave that mustache. Pittsburgh is 2.5 back on the Cardinals. The Cardinals now 6 back on Milwaukee, who's won 4 in a row. And in the only division that matters, the NL East, Miami is still struggling. They're 25 games back in the division. They have 28 wins. They are 10 back on the Nationals. The Nationals 2 back on your Mets. The Mets now 4.5 back on Atlanta. Atlanta now 8.5 back on Philly. Ugh. All right, boys, let's play North America's favorite game show. What is the run differential for the Chicago White Sox?
They're still down there.
They ain't going anywhere anytime soon, boys.
Oh, Rob said last week they might be the first ones to go wire to wire, and I believe it.
Alex.
Ooh, let's see. I said 155 last week. Still wasn't high enough, so I'm going to say 165.
Don.
Daring, 175.
The Chicago White Sox are currently 22-61. That is a win percentage of 265.
That's only a quarter better than us.
They are 14-28 at home, 8-33 on the road. They're 3-7 in their last 10.
Oh,
the Las Vegas Diamonds have a run differential of minus 106. The Toronto Blue Jays, who are also in the last place in their division in the same league, are at minus 46. The Miami Marlins are at minus 127. The Cincinnati Reds are at a plus 6. The Colorado Rockies are at a minus 133. If you remember last week, the Chicago White Sox had a run differential of, I believe, right around minus 157. Don, you win over.
Ow.
But not by much. The Chicago White Sox currently have a run differential of minus 172. They could hit 200 before the All-Star break. They are on pace.
I think
Because
they might.
Until the All-Star break, boys. Or 2.5.
Yeah. And based on the last couple of weeks, it's been about 5 runs per. So if you give them another 15, it only takes a little bit more than that.
Well, let's take a look at who they've got between now and the All-Star break, shall we?
Okay, this ought to be fun.
I'm waiting for it to pull up now. Oh, it was there, then it disappeared. Hold on. All right, here we go. They beat Atlanta today. A 1-game series with Atlanta? Really?
I think that was a makeup game.
They've got 3 versus Colorado this weekend.
The race for the floor.
3 at Cleveland, who's in first place. The holiday weekend after the 4th, they're at Miami. Then they're at the Twins. Oh, no, they got the Twins at home for 3. They've got Pittsburgh at home for 3. And then it's the All-Star. What? No. The All-Star break's the week of... They don't have the All-Star break on here. Unless it's only Monday through Thursday this time, which I don't think it is.
I thought it was Monday through Wednesday.
Yeah. Okay. That's what the 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th. I thought they included Sunday in there. But yeah, that's their schedule through the All-Star game. And then after the All-Star break, it's Kansas City, Texas, Seattle, Kansas City.
Yeah, the teams they got lined up is almost like they're like, okay, we know this team's going to be bad. We don't want them to be historically bad by the break. We still have to have a player from this team to represent. Here's the crazy thing. I appreciate that Major League Baseball has the rule that every team gets a player to the All-Star game. Who would you even send from Chicago at this point?
Mascot.
I don't know that they have one.
The guy that drives the golf cart.
The bat boy.
That was on the Dodgers, though.
That's the Dodgers. Give me a jersey. I'll go.
Yeah, honestly, if I'm having to throw it out there, it'll probably be Eric Fetty, but he's the drop in the ocean of he's been good. Everybody else has just been that bad.
I'll do the major league thing where you have the legs crossed and you stomp twice and you cross the other one. I can do that. Don, we have a new segment on the show. I don't know if you caught this. It'll be done twice each week.
Okay.
Stuff. And it is called Stuff We Watched This Week. So what I've determined, and Don, you know this as well as the rest of us.
Okay.
Screenings have become a bit of slim pickings lately because we're now at the point where we're trying to catch up from the strike.
Mm-hmm.
So what I thought we would do, both in television and movies, and it doesn't have I wanted to do just 2024 stuff, but Alex was like, no, we should open it up to just stuff that we want to talk about. Good, bad, or indifferent.
Mm-hmm.
So at the beginning of movie talk and TV talk, we will have stuff we watch. Oh, dadgummit, wrong one. Stuff we watch this week. Alex, do you have anything for the segment in television?
I don't think I have anything. It's been such a busy week. I'll have to think on it, so I do apologize.
I've got a couple things for you boys this week. I have watched the first, 4, maybe 5 episodes of The Acolyte. Have there been 5?
5th release this week, I believe.
Okay, so I am caught up on The Acolyte. Man, this is a tough watch.
I have heard a lot of people say that episode 5 does a ton for the series. I'm just waiting for it to binge all at once.
I can see how people would say that, but you're setting the bar real low. There's a reveal that I thought I knew, but they swerved me. But it's not written well. It's all over the place. You get the story rolling, and then in episode 3, you flash back to the origins. I hope it finishes strong because I wanted to call the internet a bunch of trolls. I wanted to be hashtag don't be the internet. I can't right now. This is not well written. It slogs along. I hope it picks up. That's all I'm saying. I have all
for what the story is in the series and what it could be, and what the potential of what it could be, which we'll get in the movie talk later. That's a little prelim on a certain review. It could have been a lot more, I think, and I think the potential is so much more than what we're getting.
And from the Acolyte,
yes,
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. But you know what could make it better?
What's that?
If we had a little Cerveza Cristal. Look up Cerveza Cristal. That's all you need to do.
Okay.
I also have watched 5. There's one more episode left that drops next week of Clipped. This is the FX series documenting based on the 30 for 30 podcast about Donald Sterling that Ramona Shelburne did. Plain and simple. If Ed O'Neill does not win the Emmy this year, there is something wrong. His portrayal of Donald Sterling is so good, it makes me uncomfortable.
And to co-sign that, I literally started the first episode, got maybe 40 minutes in, realized I need to be able to pay attention to this by itself. But I have always had a fondness for Ed O'Neill, and I had a hard time with moments of him in the show. It's
much like
it's not a feel good.
Much like The Last Dance, 30 for 30 podcast is doing a companion series with each episode with Ramona Shelburne. One of the other guys from Around the Horn, Clinton, can't remember his last name. He hosts it, but this week's episode does have Ed O'Neill and the lady that played Donald Sterling's wife. He's Australian. And so is the lady that plays V. Stiviano. It's fantastic.
Speaking of FX, I'm going to give a shout out to Alex. They finally gave the first season on FX. They showed it once. Season 1 of The Bear. We recorded him, and it started kind of.
You have to give it some breathing room to see what you're getting into, but oh my God.
And Faith was like, after the first 2, she's like, then 3, then 4. By the end, she's like, I want next season.
And it's been renewed for season 3 officially.
Yeah.
Well, season 3 just dropped.
Yeah, we're hoping that FX will show
season 4. But they've said it's been renewed for another season. I thought this was season 2, but
this is season 3. Season 2 was the one we talked about last year, where if you can avoid it at all costs, when you get to the flashback episode in season 2, just sit down and don't bother with drinks or popcorn or anything. You're just going to be staring at the screen going, oh.
But it's been they're getting a season out of it. But yeah, check out Clipped. Put the kids to bed because they do not pull punches in this thing. There's one episode left, so I'm looking forward. I love Lawrence Fishburne, and he's doing a great job. I just don't know that I buy him as Doc Rivers.
He in the time that I saw, it seems more like Lawrence Fishburne playing Lawrence Fishburne, but being called Doc.
And he's still great.
Yeah.
I'm still a fan. It's just that's just. Plus, I'm used to hearing Doc Rivers talk like this, and he doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
As you said, it's Lawrence Fishburne being Lawrence Fishburne saying Doc Rivers things. AMC has renewed Anne Rice's interview with the vampire for season 3. Apparently, this thing's got some legs to it.
I know a lot of people that love it. So
there is a Gary Oldman show, a British show that Apple TV Plus is carrying called Slow Horses, and season 4 of that's going to kick off on September 4th.
I've heard good things about it, but it's Gary Oldman. There's no way it's bad.
It is no secret that I was not a fan of Andor season 1. I thought it was slow and plotting. I felt like they got halfway through and called George and were like, "Hey, George, can we just remake THX 1138 and make it an Andor story?" He's like, "It's my first one. You can go and do it. It'll be fine." But now we all knew going in this thing was going to have 2 seasons because that's what it said on IMDb. You got me interested because Ben Mendelsohn will be in season 2 as Orson Krennic. So I mean, I'm going to watch it regardless, but I like Ben Mendelsohn. I thought his character in Rogue One was dope, and I'm here for it.
I was going to say, Ben Mendelsohn in anything at this point might be auto watch. I mean,
HBO announcing that Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire will hit on July 4th on Thursday. If you haven't seen it, it'll be available for you on Max next Thursday.
so ridiculous. So very ridiculous.
I'm sorry, I didn't say it right. It's Godzilla, the X is silent, Kong, The New Empire.
That's true.
Also, they have now, I don't want to say greenlit, but it's the only thing I can do, and it's going to be a terrible pun. We are getting an 8-episode Green Lantern series, and there will be multiple lanterns, and I am ready for it. So excited about that. And we're getting something new starting on Tuesday that Alex wants no part of. Our third Hard Knocks series will kick off on Tuesday, as it is Hard Knocks off season with the New York Giants.
I'm not.
When I told you this, you were not happy. Because they first announced it as Hard Knocks. And so we were like, and then they announced who was going to be on Hard Knocks, and we were very confused. And then they're like, oh no, this is going to be off season, which they've never done before.
Right. But what I said was, I don't want this in any way, shape, or form because we'll see how pathetic of an organization we are. But there's also another part of me that's trying to find the bright side and going, maybe this will open up some people's eyes and have the Mara family going, oh, maybe we actually need to like try to field a good team.
So it feels like what they're doing is they're going to do this right up to preseason Hard Knocks. Like there's not going to be a break.
I think they said it's a 1 or 2 week handoff. Whatever they mean by handoff, or whether they're just being cute with words, I don't know.
I'm kind of hoping if they do go bleed one into the other, that they do whoever's going to be in season and go right after it. I don't like that they wait that long for in season because season's halfway over at that point.
But I also appreciate that they have to kind of wait that long because training camp ends. That's the end of Hard Knocks. And you have nothing to go other than a breakneck pace. Unless they have figured out the formula that they need no breaks on the editing as they do with the preseason, then I can roll with you on that. But I understand and respect when they have to delay. I just hope it's only like 3 or 4 weeks if they do.
For those of you that
on the Hard Knocks thing, I think that having, the midseason, I just like where it was one up front. But now doing multiple, I think, is that too much now?
That's a good question.
That's just my kind of personal feeling on that, for what it's worth.
If I may, I totally understand where you're coming from, Don. If you have multiple, it no longer makes the one special potentially.
Exactly.
But football is already such a short season, in my opinion. I will take anything I can get to have more of it, especially if it means the start is earlier.
Chicago will be the preseason. We do have the announcement for who in season is going to be, and I'm intrigued because it's something they've never done before on any level of Hard Knocks. Hard Knocks in season. Actually, you should probably just do this even though it's a week old. Hard Knocks in season will be the AFC North.
I'm sorry, the multiple teams you mean?
Yes, the entire division.
Ooh.
And it's Don, it's your Pittsburgh Steelers. So I am intrigued by this.
Now, how are they going to do that? 1 episode per team or 15?
We don't know.
All I know is a week ago, it was announced that in-season Hard Knocks will be the AFC North as a division.
That reminds me of the question I wanted to ask Don.
What's that?
So, Don.
Yeah.
As a lifelong Steelers fan.
Uh-huh.
And I know you were not exactly jazzed, we'll say, about your new quarterbacks.
Yeah.
How do you feel about what people are considering a subtle Madden dig at the Steelers in their commercial?
Never saw it.
So, there is an opening kickoff.
Okay.
The Steelers are the receiving team, and it's Justin Fields back receiving the kick.
Oh, boys. We need to get to movie talk fairly quickly because we have actual breaking news.
Go for it.
Not yet. Get there. But I just got an email. I don't want to say smartest man alive, but I'm in the ballpark right now. Let's get to it. Let's get to the rest of the headlines out of the way. Paramount Plus subscribers, you are going up if you have the limited commercial or with Showtime pricing. It's going to go up by $1 a month coming in the fall. The essential will go up $2 a month. So be prepared for that. Paramount Plus.
Okay.
Season 2 of Tulsa King is set to kick off on September 15th. And I believe the Sly documentary is out now, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's been out for a little while.
Mm-hmm. We have two more. We have one more returning character for season 2 of Frasier and somebody coming with them as Harriet Sansom Harris, who is currently featured in Clipped. She's the agent BB. She will return to Frasier, and Rachel Bloom will be playing her daughter. So we're getting, apparently a lot of that cast was like, we want to see if this thing makes it through a season, and then maybe we'll come back. We're getting a lot of that, apparently, because Roz is coming back. We talked about a couple more people last week. And we also talked about when Alex was out, Don and I talked about the prequel series for Dexter called Dexter Original Sin. Where Christian Slater is playing his dad. We have now found out that Sarah Michelle Gellar will be part of the cast as Dexter's CSI boss. Because it takes place in 1991 as he's going to college.
Love the show. I'm looking forward to it.
And if you are a fan of The Closer, all 7 seasons will be on Peacock and NBC, or Peacock, starting on Sunday. Which is weird because that was a TNT show, but maybe it was Universal. Maybe Universal filmed it.
Makes sense. They do have that deal.
TV on DVD and Blu-ray this week, which reminds me I've got to start watching some Hulu. Season 12 of Letterkenny available this week. So it means I got to start watching Shoresy because I believe the whole thing's ready now.
It is.
Okay. Let's get into, because we are at Movie Talk. We have breaking news, and if you boys haven't looked at your emails yet, you don't even know. That's how breaking this is. From our friends at Fonz PR, Alamo Drafthouse Cinema is set to return to Dallas, Fort Worth, and Minnesota this summer. What did I say on this show a couple of weeks ago? When Sony made the purchase, I would not be shocked if they wrote the check for the bankruptcy and got all of those locations back, because the buildings are still there and they haven't taken the signs down yet. It is happening. This is breaking news. And Alex, if you want to put this on our social media, feel free. It looks like I'm going to see when the opening day, if we have, it says this summer. Offering past teammates first access to interviews for open positions. So if you worked at Alamo and were let go, you get first crack with the new company. They're going to get a more robust benefits plan with immediate eligibility. So day one eligibility, including access to daily pay, a substantial 401k match, paid medical leave, accrued PTO, and free mental health services. This is huge. So Alamo fans, get ready. So it is happening right now. It says for immediate release, so we are good there. I'm trying to figure out when. I do not see, as I'm scanning this release, if there is a launch date, but they are. Okay, they're saying they are going to honor anybody that pre-bought tickets for the Inside Out 2 Lunchbox and the Deadpool and Wolverine pint glass. So if you pre-ordered those, you will still have access to them. I do not see a date in here. So get ready, kids. It's happening. This has been breaking news.
And if you'd like to see that post from Alamo Drafthouse, you can follow that QR code. Go to our social media, and you will find that link directly to Alamo's own Facebook page that has the full readout.
I did not oversell that, did I? That's
No,
huge.
you did not. No, but I was getting annoyed with you of being like, oh, before we get to breaking news, let's make it not breaking news and talk about this other stuff.
Speaking of other stuff, it's also time to talk about stuff we watched this week. Movie edition. I only have one movie to watch this week, but I do want to let everybody know about something else that's out there currently. Alex, do you have any movies you watched this week?
Same thing as TV. I'm going to hold off on talking about House of the Dragon until we get further into the season, but I got nothing else right now.
I did watch the part 2 of All Caps Steve! ! All lowercase Martin, a documentary in 2 parts. This one is a completely different vibe than the first part. If you remember last week, I said part 1 called Then was a lot of just voiceover. There weren't a lot of talking head segments. In this one, there are. And they go a little bit more in depth into Steve's personal life. And of course, Martin Short is in it, and watching them interact always brings me joy. But there's a lot of people in this that talk about Steve Martin and his career since he stopped stand-up. It's good. I wouldn't say overall that it's great, but it is good. So if you're a Steve Martin fan, I would recommend it because they do go in depth on some really cool stuff. They go through all of his movies and everything, which is kind of cool. Lots of movie announcements this week. We are getting a sequel to one of my favorite films, and do not get me lying. Let me get this done correctly. One of my favorite films from 2021 is getting a sequel. Bob Odenkirk returns for Nobody 2.
Yes.
It is
get me to there now.
Yes, it is happening.
Let me stop off at Deadpool and Wolverine, then get me to Nobody 2.
Yes. We're also getting Shrek 5, as well as Eddie Murphy says he's already done all the voiceover work for it. And apparently we are getting a Donkey spinoff. I'm making waffle.
I have heard rumors that they're expecting the Donkey movie to be a prequel.
Fair enough.
All I can think is, what the?
Also in production right now is Freaky Friday 2 with Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan. I do like the picture of them in front of the trailer, though. I think that's kind of cool. My wife, very excited about Downton Abbey 3, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago, which will have Paul Giamatti. It is now set next year for September the 12th is your release date for that. And what is a Street Fighter? The new live-action Street Fighter now set for March 20th, 2026.
But are we going to have a good one for a change? Or are we going to follow the Mortal Kombat model where maybe it's not good, but it's great fun?
Or are we just going to do what Mortal Kombat is and just borrow a lot from the animated movies?
Oh, no. I fully expect one of these movies to start with Jean-Claude Van Damme walking into frame and just going, no. And then walking away.
Funny.
I had that movie on Laserdisc. I'm not afraid to say it.
Somebody had to.
But it also
it gives us one of our favorite repeatable lines. I will never take that away from it.
Yep. Movie new releases and places you get movie new releases this week. We have Kinds of Kindness. This is the new film from Yorgos Lanthimos. This is one of those multiple storylines all weaving together. Block out some time because this thing runs 246. I was at a different screening the same night that we can talk about off air. Also, we have the first part of the Horizon and American Saga. This is the thing that Kevin Costner is doing. So that's out there. Janet Planet is this week. This takes place, I believe, in the 90s. With one of what I feel is a very underrated of our time actress. And that is Julianne Nicholson. She was on Law and Order Criminal Intent. Will Patton is in this. In rural Western Massachusetts, 11-year-old Lacey spends the summer of 1991 at home, enthralled by her own imagination and the attention of her mother, Janet. As the months pass, 3 visitors enter their orbit, all captivated by Janet. Also, we have this week. This is not a documentary about mufflers. This is called Midas. After a charismatic college dropout lies his way into a job at an insurance juggernaut, he recruits his 2 best friends for a plot to steal thousands. In the process, they uncover a much darker scheme that tests the limits of their greed. So you got that going for you. And also a movie that's not only going to be in theaters. Again, I get confused on these things sometimes. It will also be available on DVD Tuesday. So it's hitting theaters tomorrow, DVD next week. It's called Revival 69, the concert that rocked the world. John Lennon, Yoko Ono, Little Richard, The Doors, Chuck Berry, and other legends unite for the 1969 Toronto Rock and Roll Revival Music Festival. Alice Cooper, Geddy Lee, Robbie Krieger, goes The Doors, Shep Gordon. So this is a documentary that'll be out. Jerry Lee Lewis, Bo Diddley, Little Richard, John Lennon, Yoko Ono. Yeah. Movies on DVD and Blu-ray this coming week. We have a movie called Housekeeping for Beginners. This was a film that was delayed. It's a film. I believe this is a Spanish film about loss and learning how to raise a family. Also, we have the 30th anniversary edition, because no one asked for it, of Super Mario Brothers.
John Leguizamo asked. Bob Hoskins' kids asked.
Okay, here's the Housekeeping for Beginners. My computer's running slow. Despite never aspiring to be a mother, Dita finds herself compared to raise her girlfriend's 2 daughters. As their individual wills clash, a heartwarming story unfolds about an unlikely family's struggle to stay together. So I'm trying to figure out the originator. And this also it's streaming on Peacock as well. So we also have the 35th anniversary edition of UHF. This I am intrigued by.
You have
this is
many
the weird
times said you love it. Yeah.
And the Criterion Collection does Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid this week.
Oh.
So, yes. Tech Talk real quick before we get into the other half of the show. Go ahead, Alex.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw the update regarding Bill Skarsgård's The Crow. It has gotten its official rating. It is also R, as expected. However, the subtext on the reasoning is about 3 times as long as the original movie, including, fair warning, kids, gore and nudity being added.
It's a tall order they're going to have to live up to. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, well, I have said on many occasions, I am so much of a fan of the original that I have to compartmentalize, because I'm a big fan of Bill Skarsgård. And John Huston's awesome. So I'm going to give it a shot.
All right, real quick. I want to give everybody a little piece of advice. If you have an iPhone,
I do,
and you decide that you're going to upgrade your laptop and you want to sync that iPhone to your new laptop, understand that you will have to remove all of your music and put it back on.
Sounds like a personal story.
Last night.
Yeah.
9 hours.
Which somehow, for knowing your music collection, I felt like that would just get you through the letter E.
53,000 tracks. I thought it's the same list of songs. Nothing changes except the physical location, because on this one, I had it on an external, and in there it's local. And it went, no. You will have to do it all again. Got halfway through, and then it stopped because I had Windows updates. So then I had to reboot the laptop, and I was like, do not make me remove this and start over. Luckily, it picked up where it left off. But yeah, it's 11:30 by the time I got to bed. So just be aware of that. And now this. It is time for the Cheat Popcast, your one-stop shop for all things professional wrestling. And it has been a week in our sport, boys. We start last Saturday night as Alex and I bared witness to the game being set on fire. Because that was the name of the event. I believe them.
Setting the game on fire. And it was a great show.
Great show. Got to see, Wobble did not get out with the win. He lost the title. But
great story, though.
Yes. I want to send a shout out to everybody at Soar Wrestling. They did an absolutely great job. I got to see Josh Alexander close and in person. He had a great match with their that wasn't their champion was in the 6-man. That was the
OIAW, the indie affiliates champion, Dante. Oh my God.
Smiley.
Blanked on his name. Dante Smiley.
I didn't have the first name. You didn't have the last name. So we got it covered.
And all I could remember was them calling him the Apex. It was Dante the Apex Smiley.
And it was a great match. A
really good
time. Had a great time overall. Shout out to everybody that did that show. Go to Soar Wrestling's social media. They got a lot of shows coming up.
And a really cool showcase coming up for students as well. Also, a special shout out to Barrett Brown having a great match. Very entertaining with one of his pupils. Wasn't
that Bumps and Bruises Wrestling Academy?
Yes, it was.
Run by Sir Mo.
Yes,
so check them out as well. TNA news, Dirty Dango is now Johnny Dango Curtis or JDC. Adjust your rosters accordingly. And they have signed indie tag team Sinner and Saint. This is Judas Icarus and Travis Williams have signed with TNA Wrestling. We actually had some really interesting things happen on Reality of Wrestling this week. Go ahead, Alex. I thought you were going to say something.
Oh, no. I was just adjusting.
Okay. Gaspar Hernandez, who won the Last Chance Battle Royal, he has decided he's going to challenge Matty Ice for the ROW Championship. The wrinkle to this is they're stablemates managed by Booker T. So Booker T, not a happy camp counselor right now. He wanted both of them to challenge for the tag title. And Mr. Hernandez was like, nope, I want the big belt. And that will be happening at their big, it's not called Night of Champions, but it's just like Booker's like, hey, H, can I borrow this for a minute? Because you had their Last Chance Battle Royal, which is basically the Rumble. Yeah. Then we also had the Battle to the Bell ladder match. This was a ladder match where hanging above the ring was a bell and a hammer. And you had to be the first person to climb the ladder and ring the bell 3 times. And guess what that gets you, boys? Guess what that got Edge Stone, who's the only person to cut a promo for it out of all 6 guys.
Which should probably be an indicator.
Yeah.
Another title shot?
Top of the show. But guess what he has now?
The bell?
No, the bell stayed up above the ring.
The hammer?
Nope. The hammer was attached to the bell.
He
gets a championship shot anytime, any place that he wants it.
Money in the bank again.
It's a money in the bell.
Yeah. That's what it is. It was a decent match.
Number one, for a story standpoint, even if your stablemate is the champion, you should be going for the big belt if you have that opportunity. Anybody who has the Money in the Bank briefcase, don't tell me about cashing it in somewhere else. You win the Rumble, don't tell me about cashing somewhere else. Tell me about anything else. No.
What did Dusty say? If you ain't in this business to win the title, you don't need to be in this business.
But he said it in a far more expletive laden when you get DDP to tell the true story.
Yes. And Clay Roberts wins the Reality of Wrestling Television Championship. However, Eric Lockhart's foot was under the rope and the ref didn't see it. So we'll see how that unfolds if they play a new episode this week. I don't know. Sometimes they don't. Our best to Selena De La Renta. MLW in Angle, she reveals to her on-camera father that she is pregnant. She is actually pregnant. She is 5 months pregnant because people said stuff, and then she put up a tweet where she showed her belly and was like, good luck debunking this. Well, she has said that, now I'm sure this is also in Angle, but she will reveal who the baby daddy is at Blood and Thunder on July 12th. Also on that match, on that card, we have Kenta in his MLW debut taking on Bobby Fish.
That'll be a good match.
And in the first round of the Opera Cup, it will be... Oh, that's the first round of the Opera Cup. I'm sorry. And in a no-ropes death match, we will have Matt Riddle and Sami Callihan.
Yeah, get ready for a long night if you happen to be in the venue.
We know it. We do want to send our best. Just the other day, Sika of the Wild Samoans passed away at the age of 79. This is Roman Reigns' father.
And for all accounts and purposes, in the real world, the true patriarch of the Samoan dynasty.
So just seeing the outpour of love from people from the industry and around the industry, it warmed my heart.
And there was a really touching statement made by somebody not involved. Roman put out as Joe Anoa'i, a very, very touching tribute to his father, and still made his children's hospital dates the next day. Because that's, and I quote, the right thing to do and what he's going to do. No cameras, no nothing. He said he was going to be somewhere, and he was. So, if anything, Sika deserves the respect for raising a good man.
Yep. So our best to the family and friends.
Is the other Samoan, is he alive, Batu? Or
Afa?
Afa?
Yeah.
I believe he's still in.
Yeah, I believe Afa is still with us.
Okay.
And then we also got interesting news, and this actually broke right after we went off air last week. Kayla Braxton, tomorrow night is her last night with the company. She is moving on to the next phase of her career. So we want to say good luck to the Kayla Braxton. We love the Kayla Braxton, and I'm looking forward to her now being able to tell the real stories of her interactions with Paul Heyman. Alex has a look. Do I need to hit the thing?
No, I'm confirming right now because I'm seeing something that, okay, it was, oh God, why won't people, general statement, if you are going to post something online, please do a bare minimum of fact checking and don't tell me that Afa died too when you didn't do the research.
Hashtag don't be the internet.
Complaining.
Hashtag don't be the internet.
I was just confirming that Afa is still alive and came across that 2 days ago, and I'm thinking, what?
As someone that we like on this show would say, get ready, Indianapolis, Indiana! You are hosting the Royal Rumble in 2025 on February 1st, and the people on the Jericho Cruise page are losing their minds again. But this is a big deal that the state of Indiana Sports Commission, or whatever they're called, made with WWE that is for the Royal Rumble next year. And they will be hosting a 2-night SummerSlam and Mania in coming years. Stop saying it's next year. They haven't said that. Could it be? Yes, because we don't know where it's going to be because Minnesota's the year after. However, and Alex and I talked about this, and Don, I want your opinion here. We have never had, in the modern era, 2 majors in the same city. Do you think that happens next year with Indianapolis after this mega money deal?
Fucking in the same year.
Yeah, because it's already been said they're getting the Rumble next year. They will be getting a 2-night SummerSlam and Mania in future years. I don't think it's next year. My gut feeling tells me SummerSlam's not going to be in this country next year, no matter what Tony Khan says, or what the other, who's the guy? Nick Khan says. Alex.
Well, Don, if you wanted to reply to that first.
I think you're going to have other cities saying, what the hey-ho? we have offered you all this other stuff, and now you're giving Indianapolis this all in one time kind of thing. Why not spread it out? I think it might make other cities mad that try to get the thing in there. Secondly, yeah, I think that tease with Cena and stuff. I don't care what Khan says. I think one day that WrestleMania will be in England. There's no way around it. So if I was Triple H, yeah, Indiana, we'll give you the Royal Rumble this year. 2 years from now, 3 years, we'll give you WrestleMania. I have no problem with that. But all in the same year, it's like all these other cities are going to say, "What, we chop liver or what?"
I think we have missed a glaring piece of this, Rob.
Go ahead.
And it just occurred to me when you were saying it. They have been advertising the Minnesota SummerSlam as the first ever 2-night SummerSlam.
Okay.
I think that inherently means Indianapolis's SummerSlam at minimum would have to be later than that, which means I would say that the Mania either happens first, but would at least be 2 years out, which means it won't be the same year, or both of the non-Rumble events are significantly further down the road. Because we already know Nashville has Mania in 27.
So it would be 28 at a minimum for Mania, 26 at a minimum for SummerSlam.
Exactly.
One a year. Indy gets one.
I would think that it might be every other year, kind of the way that they did with Dallas for a while. But I think there's the other aspect that there is no knock on Indianapolis. But did you see the headline after the Olympic trials?
I did not.
That fits into this because it is Lucas Oil Stadium.
It's the Circle City.
It was, how trashy is Indianapolis that they hosted the Olympic trials and still built an above ground pool in an arena?
I thought it looked cool.
It did look cool, but I didn't realize it was an above ground pool.
Yeah.
Well, but it makes perfect sense because it's a football stadium.
Yeah, they weren't going to dig in the turf.
But it just those things that don't occur because they did such a good job making it look like a regular pool.
Caleb Braxton, not the only person done after tomorrow. Also, we found out today, Dijak. They did not get a deal done. He puts up a post where he basically writes a letter of what his side of the story is. And Alex sent it to me, and my reaction was, I hope he gets picked up by someone who knows what to do with him. Allegedly, 2 of his Retribution stablemates are in talks with AEW, being Mason Mansoor. So there's that. SmackDown. The move to USA happens on September 13th. I couldn't remember if we talked about that or not, but that's the official.
We mentioned it in passing, but without a solid date.
Yeah, so we're going to have about a 2.5 month overlap where USA has Raw and SmackDown.
And do you have the headline that might exactly fly in your face from last week, sir?
That list is long and distinguished, sir.
But something that you had made mention of with some vitriol regarding Chance. And then immediately afterwards, Triple H saying that he's excited for Netflix because they have said gloves off uncensored once they hit Netflix for Raw.
Oh, Chance, Chants. I was like, I didn't talk about Katana Chance last week.
No. When you were referring to things that rhyme with dunk.
Oh, yeah. Yay. Nothing has made me giggle in the last week more than Heyman's favor.
The man knows how to deliver a line of any kind.
Giggled like a child. Take me with you.
Yeah.
I do dig that these Money in the Bank qualifiers are all triple threats. I'm very much enjoying this because it can throw you curveballs like Chelsea Green.
Yep.
Carmelo Hayes and Andrade also qualified Friday night. And enter Jacob Fatu, who both Alex and I had the same initial reaction of, brothers lost some weight. Brothers trimmed it up. And I love that t-shirt.
But we have to cover both sides of that, though. Apparently, he's not allowed to travel to a number of countries.
And you broke up there at the end.
Sorry. Apparently, Jacob Fatu is not allowed to travel to a number of countries that WWE works in. Now, the reasoning for that being that he took let's call it a different path at one point in life when he was inspired to become a wrestler at about 19 years old while he was in prison for robbery, watching his cousins, the Usos, on TV and realized he needed to clean himself up. Has been clean since, but when you have a record, there are certain countries that do not allow you in.
But Alex and I had this discussion, and Don, I want to get your thoughts too. Jacob Fatu joins the new bloodline. That means there are now 4 of them.
Yeah.
My personal thought process is Roman comes back, turns face. You got him and the Usos, and you still got a couple of bloodline members that are rumored to or to not be coming to the company, one of whom being Hikuleo. So that would give us 4 on 4.
Okay.
The other thing about this is now I think it could also open the door to have Nia on the heel side and Naomi on the face side. What are your thoughts?
Because I could see Naomi because of her husband.
Right.
Okay. And then, of course, with Nia on the other side, then you have that 5-on-5 with both with the woman, which is legit family, you know. Yeah, who does not see this old versus new bloodline coming?
And it's going to be war
What?
game. I'm resigned to it.
Yeah. 1 second. Let Alex go on.
Oh,
this,
no. I
but-
just have a point I wanted to throw at you when
yeah,
you
go
finish
real
up there.
fast. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
The other part about this is I don't think it's going to be 4-on-4 in any way, shape, or form because Hikuleo is the brother of Tama and Tonga Loa. So I think there's a 0% chance or near it that he winds up on Roman's side. And the point I had made to Rob was I would see it more as the Roman redemption tour of apologizing to the Usos, apologizing to Sammy, and possibly even getting to the point of the over apologetic to KO as their 5th member, or their 5th member is The Rock, who then turns on them because he's the one bringing in the new bloodline. But any which way, I don't see it being 4-on-4 at any point now with that. I was expecting Jacob Fatu more likely to being on the Roman side than on the Solo side. Sorry to interrupt before it.
Well, I basically see that coming. Like you were saying on that. So I could see a big 4-on-4, 5-on-4. You know, it'll get worked out where there's going to be equal number of families, and there you go. So.
Raw news, Booker T announced today his Hall of Fame radio show on ESPN in Houston is going to go national on ESPN radio. So enjoy that. I'm still trying to get past the wrestling logic. Drew quits and now he's in Money in the Bank match. Moving on. But we did have Lyra Valkyria and Chad Gable both qualify, and I want to put a pin in the latter of those two because something that Alex and I talked about, and I'm very intrigued by this.
But I also want to clarify, you had the big point here. I just agreed with it. I'm not taking anything away from your credit.
Oh, okay. No, okay.
Oh, I know what you're going to say. That's what I'm saying. But you were.
We do have the stipulation for Money in the Bank. And again, I cannot say this as much how much I am enjoying the marketing campaign for this pay-per-view. Love it, love it, love it. If Priest wins, Seth cannot challenge again while he has the belt. If Seth wins, Priest has to leave the Judgment Day. And I like what they're doing with Damian Priest. I like where this is going, and I'm here for it. Now, oh, by the way, hashtag a new tag champs. Although I did like the picture of JD McDonough and Finn Balor when JD was first starting out, hanging out, and then them having the belts. Then I'm here for that. However, Don, I want to run something else by you. We have talked in the past about this Chad Gable heel turn.
Mm-hmm.
And how one of the theories was he was going to dump Alpha Academy and then team up with the Creed brothers and Ivy Nile staying heel. Let me pinch you. I can't pinch you. You're too far away.
Yeah.
I'm
Kind of tough.
crushing your head. Let me pitch you something.
Okay.
What if it's a double swerve? Because who has targeted Chad Gable in the last 2 weeks?
Was Sammy, wasn't it?
No.
Well, he had that big feud with Sammy.
Right, but in the last 2 episodes of Raw, who has
Don,
targeted?
have you been able to catch the last 2 weeks while you were in Montana?
I saw the one 2 weeks ago, but not the one on Monday. I'm still behind from the
Okay,
so
so
jump through.
what debuted at the end of last week's Raw?
Oh, okay. The
Wyatt Six.
okay.
So here's my theory. It's a double swerve. He takes all of them because now you have the 4 guys, him. You've got the female and Ivy Nile, so you don't have to put Maxine in the ring so she can continue training. Have that be your angle versus the Wyatt Six. And Chad Gable goes back face. Because I kind of felt they teased it a little bit this week.
I could see that.
Alex,
I just realized why it works even more than you said.
go ahead.
What has been the whole deal with the Wyatt Six in their cryptic messages? You wanted to forget us. We didn't fit your mold. We aren't what your cookie cutter champions are. And let's be honest, if Gable was 3 inches taller, he'd already have multiple world titles. But they are all of that former Olympian, cut from the same cloth, champions that they love, a la Kurt Angle.
Yep.
And the Wyatt Six is not.
I thought that Bo Dallas did a fantastic job.
Oh, so good.
Don, if you watch anything from Monday night, watch the at the end of Chad Gable's match when he qualifies for Money in the Bank. Lights go out. Nikki Cross shows up in the ring, walks over to Michael Cole and gives him a box. Inside that box was a videotape. If you watch anything from Raw, if you only watch one thing, watch the segment where they play the videotape. Bo Dallas crushing the game.
For the record, I thought you were going to lose your mind about part of that.
Guy. Is that the deal?
You'll see.
Yeah, you'll
Don,
you'll see it.
To be seen.
It won't take you.
Describing it takes away.
Yeah, go ahead.
But I honestly thought that you were going to lose your mind at a moment during Raw when Michael Cole had to explain what a VHS tape was.
I did giggle. Because that's different than him explaining how to download an app, because that was current technology. Mm-hmm. This is old technology.
But that's literally what I thought of the moment he said, for you younger generation.
I did giggle a little bit.
All you gotta do is believe.
Oh, it's anything but that, brother.
Don't even. Let me put it in this context, Don. You know I am an emotional person. I was in tears. Not tears of joy. I was in genuine tears during that short segment.
Fantastic work.
Okay.
I
always liked Bo Dallas, even when he was the.
But just go watch. If you only watch one thing from Raw, watch that.
Okay. Absolutely.
NXT news. Congratulations to Cassie Lee and Sean Spears welcoming their second baby boy, Harley Deen. So shout out to those kids. Chase U are now your number one contenders for the tag team titles at Heatwave. And your main event for Heatwave, which is the day after Money in the Bank, is now a fatal 4-way. Trick Williams, Javon Evans, Sean Spears, and Ethan Page.
Yep.
And that's all I got from NXT, because
I will say this. There is something about Javon Evans. And I have said it about numerous other people where, yes, athletically gifted, fun for spots. But the charisma that Wesley lacks, Javon Evans has. And it's the it factor. You cannot define it. But that kid is going to hit a gear at some point, and he's going to be beyond everything in NXT right now.
What I appreciated from NXT was when he went to Trick and was like, I can have your back. And Trick was like, no. Like, kind of past that point right now. Don't have a lot. I've got trust issues. I appreciated how they told that story.
Mm-hmm.
Because it wasn't everything's happy now because Carmelo's gone. No, I'm still dealing with my best friend turning on me. I can't have any distractions. You need to prepare for this match. I thought that was a great segment as well. AEW news: Forbidden Door is this Sunday. You can watch it at a Dave & Buster's near you, Don.
Okay.
They have it at Arlington. I looked today. All 3 Dallas-Fort Worth locations are carrying it, so it will be here.
That's where I saw the last one.
It'll be here in Frisco. It'll be in Arlington, and it will be in Dallas.
I guess they stopped with the AMC.
No, AMC isn't doing it. Galaxy's not doing it.
Yeah,
it's just
they were before.
Sport Bar, which I think is a West Coast thing, and Dave & Buster's. Those are your best bets.
But they had a pretty good showing for the ones at the theaters, I thought.
When we went, there always was.
Yeah, we had a blast. Satnam Singh now listed as a broadcaster on AEW's website.
I think they've just given up on him being able to wrestle, and they're like, you know what? Go to the. You're going to do the Punjabi. You're going to do the Hindu broadcast.
But he's tagging. He is tagging with Jinder Mahal in Mexico coming up very soon. Taking on I think it's the Triple A tag team champions.
I got to take that. I'm going to head out.
Okay.
Yeah, everything's okay. So that's good. All right.
Have a great week, Don. We'll be off the next 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Next week is 4th of July. Week after that, I'm coming back from Pittsburgh. So when we all could reconvene, it'll be season 15.
All right.
Give
our everybody all that stuff. All right. Nothing horrible, but just got to go on this one.
Yeah, totally understand, brother. Take care of your business. Beach Break is next week. Oh man, I wish he'd have stayed on 30 more seconds because there's a weird thing about this.
Go on.
So Beach Break is next Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see who is sponsoring Beach Break.
I did not.
Shark Week.
Oh, okay. Yes, I did see that. They listed it as in partner. I didn't connect the.
And who is hosting Shark Week?
Say it.
John Cena. Forbidden Door.
God, no.
Could you imagine though?
I think my eye would pop out of my head with surprise. It would be full Vader.
I would lose it. I'm just saying. And congratulations.
No. Make it even better. He comes out with a lucha mask. It's just Juan Cena, hits one AA, and he's gone.
I wanted to do that to a shark.
It'll happen.
Congratulations, Buddy Matthews and Rhea Ripley are now married.
Yes.
So mazel tov to those kids.
Cue the Dolph Ziggler memes.
Mm-hmm.
But I like that one.
Collision. Did you watch all the stuff I asked you to watch yet?
That list is way too long.
Well, I'm talking about like it was 2 segments. It was one from Collision. No, it was one from Dynamite and one from Rampage and Collision.
No, I honestly I did not remember what they were.
So
I need you to put it in writing. I'm not an auditory learner.
So on Rampage, Joe and Hook decide they're going to bust into the dressing room of the premier athletes.
Yes.
I don't remember. So he's and Shibata's carrying the camera, which we don't find out till the end of the segment. But Joe says to him, like, we're going to go in there and we're going to do this. And I need you to get hyped up. And I can't remember exactly what Hook yells as they bust into the door, but premier athletes are gone. They leave a note. We knew you were coming. We're not here.
Tell me it was Leroy Jenkins. Tell me he yelled Leroy Jenkins. It was
something like Hook could have made it tough, but it just didn't quite stick the landing. And as they're leaving, Joe looks at him and goes, one more thing. And he repeats it and he just starts laughing. He's like, we're going to workshop that, dude. And Hook was like, you told me to be tough. You told me to be intimidating. And Joe is just laughing. And it's the most human I've seen Joe ever. And it was beautiful. And then on Collision, Shibata does the walk away from the off the top turnbuckle spot. And the look of pure glee on Joe's face was brilliant.
I could only imagine that's what a proud father looks like.
And he just the first thing I thought when I saw him was the Leonardo DiCaprio Once Upon a Time in Hollywood meme. I absolutely loved it. It was great, man. And I also thought it was funny because you had the tag match of the Learning Tree versus Private Party.
Mm-hmm.
The Learning Tree coming out of the face tunnel and then Private Party coming out of the heel tunnel. Just Jericho selling this bit that much
But
more.
it's the delusion, absolutely.
I thought that. I was like, you know what? It's subtle. I'm here for it. Let's keep it moving. And on Dynamite, the only thing I really had was Jay White advancing in the Owen.
He needed it.
I did like, though, the I can't remember if it was on Collision or I think it was on Collision. The Jeff Jarrett, where he talks about entering the Owen.
That I believe that was on Collision. I actually saw it on their social. Oh man, did that hit me right through the heart?
I would love to see him win the whole thing.
Here's my problem.
I wouldn't have no issues with it.
No, I want to say I would have no issues with it, but that would be hypocritical of me, because I have said on multiple occasions I don't like people getting things based off of real life emotions. I find it to be cheap. It's why I don't count all of Mysterio's world titles.
Well,
it's why I have issue with the Clash at the Castle. But like we talked about, something had to get a win there,
right?
Or somebody local had to get a win there.
The difference for me is if this had been the first one, I could roll with you. This is the third one now.
That's true.
So I'm kind of okay with it on this level.
And you know what's really bad? I can't even remember who won the second one.
Cole won it the first year.
Cole and Britt Baker won it the first year.
Last year was
it Garcia? No.
Willow Nightingale won the women's.
Right. I remember Willow. I can't remember who won the men's. That's the part that's been a struggle for me.
I'm on it right now.
But to clarify, the other problem is, sorry?
Ricky Starks.
The other problem I have with this is I think the Owen should be more. I think they already have too many belts that feel like they mean nothing, and then you have a championship essentially that doesn't get defended. So it feels like it's too much to me. Make this more like King of the Ring, and Minoru Suzuki is now on Threads. That just popped up off screen here. But make this mean more. Owen deserves it to mean more. I don't care what it is. Say it finishes right before All In and the winner gets a title shot. Give me that. Don't just say that here's this tournament and that's what it is.
I thought that's what they said, is that this year the winner gets a title shot.
I have not heard that.
Also, I'm intrigued that the finals are on Dynamite.
I'm okay with it.
On July 10th. Because the was called it was Collision. Oh, it's been Collision the last 2 years by the looks of things. Mm-hmm. Oh no, it's Collision the last Double or Nothing the first year. Collision last year, Rampage this year. So I did like the Minoru Suzuki segment on Dynamite last night. Very much enjoyed that.
That was well done.
I can honestly say I'm more interested in Forbidden Door now than I was 2 days ago.
I feel like I'm in the same line of thinking. Like I'm not interested, but there's nothing that says I need to watch this.
I'm intrigued.
Except there is one thing.
What's that?
Swerve and Ospreay have known each other for a long time. Did you see how snug that house call was at the end?
Yeah.
Because I had a genuine moment where I was like, I don't know that he's faking a concussion. That might really be a concussion.
That match also gave me my favorite sign of the night. I swerve when I bruv.
I didn't see that.
It was dead center. It was dead center.
And you know what? Second best sign of the week. Second best.
It was what am I missing?
The one from the Stanley Cup Game 7.
Oh, yeah.
I believe in Vergate. Oh, that broke me. So bad.
God bless you, Joe Hendry.
And the places that dude is popping up right now, it's amazing.
Did you see the interview he did where he talks about how he got the bit with Rusev and Lana?
No.
There's an interview out there at 411mania.com has it.
Mm-hmm.
He talks about how it was a very last minute thing. And apparently they had two other people that they were ready to cast. And he just basically outread both of them.
That makes sense.
We're like, you're all going out there, but he's doing the talking.
But I have a genuine question for you.
Yes, sir.
Does this not, the Joe Hendry viral sensation, not feel very comparable to the Yes movement?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, organically, you know, if we don't get a Joe Hendry Mania match out of this, I don't know where we're going.
I just
you have a very confused look.
Something made a noise in here. Oh, I don't want to say her name because then she talks.
I get you.
Thing that's over here with the screen that's not seen.
Yeah, it has a similar name to me.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just here for the ride.
Yeah.
Let's keep it moving with Joe Hendry because
I'm happy for the entertainment, and it's great. It's been great all around for a little bit now.
And that same interview, they did ask him about the theme song going viral, and he talks about that. And
the number of videos getting posted from the Joe Hendry rabbit hole, priceless.
Joe Hendry, you're welcome anytime.
Oh,
100%.
How much does an hour and a half cameo cost?
All right. Anything else you want to talk about?
The episodes from Forney, Texas have begun starting last week. And I talked about it briefly on the show. It was on this week's episode of Looks That Kill versus Murdoch and Knox. And oh my God, Murdoch, not Murdoch, but Knox murdering a woman, essentially. You have to see it to understand what I mean. It is one of the stiffest crossbodies I've ever seen from somebody ostensibly 350 pounds to somebody who without silicone might be 100.
Was that Marklova?
Natalia Markova?
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
I
so
think
the
I saw
episodes,
that she was a part of that match. Yeah.
Yeah. The other one I told you about that was a lot of fun was Joe Alonzo and Mystery Challenger.
Okay.
Spoiler alert.
It aired last night, didn't it?
Yes. But giving people enough no, it was Tuesday. But giving people enough time to it was now that we've stalled
1 go.
Was Jack Cartwheel of AEW fame. It was a lot of fun.
Such a strange bit.
But my favorite thing is, and I told you about this, I have not said it on air, but sitting next to me for the entirety of this, Sign Guy Rick.
Friend of the show.
Had a bag.
Oh, he always
prepared for no. I was not anticipating this much preparation because the last few shows I've seen with Rick was not that prepared. It was like 1 or 2 like really good signs. He was ready for anybody that could have showed up.
Like that guy a lot.
Good dude.
All right. Alex,
if you happen to kick onto the CW and you see somebody in an iCrab Boston shirt in the front row.
Not the CW.
I said if you check out CW.
You said the CW.
Well, I don't care that much.
Trying to be respectful.
Check out the app.
Alex is going to point up to the corner of the screen so I don't have to contort my hand where the QR code is. It's right there. If you're watching the video, scan the QR code and get all of our social media. If you're on the audio version, you can follow us on your social medias. By the way, also go to our website, www.theclubhousepodcast.com, where today you will find Don's review for A Quiet Place Day 1. Got some very interesting opinions on that film. Also, you can follow us on social medias. Everything but Twitter and Twitch are The Clubhouse Podcast. Those two are Clubhouse Show.
But they are all available at that QR code I am pointing at.
But we still have to say it because of the people on the audio version.
Mm-hmm.
You can follow me on your social medias if you would like. Everything is yes, that Rob Irvin. That is spelled ERVIN.
I'm Vexploit on all social media. And if you'd like to help out the show, please go to prowrestlingtees.com/the-cheap-podcast. If you happen to be on the video version, I apologize for this, but go to this. So we have a lot of different shirt options, a lot of different color options within those shirt designs. If you happen to be an artist or have any suggestions, you can reach out to me at alex@theclubhousepodcast.com.
The official fact checker, you saw him a little while ago, of Sooner Gator Productions is Don Ford. You can email him for maybe us coming and do a live show for you. Might have one coming up next month. You don't know. He is Don@theclubhousepodcast.com. You can email me questions, comments, concerns. Tell me to go pound sand. I am Rob@theclubhousepodcast.com. Charlotte Marshall's on Pinterest because we're morally obligated to see that. And I get to see my sister on Monday night because we're going to see the screening of Despicable Me 4 because we have seen all of them together and we're not going to stop the streak now. So glad you're with us each and every week. Interact with us on social media. Tell us all the stuff that you like and tell us the stuff you don't. Well, we can take it. But before we go tonight, it is a tradition on this show that we take just a couple of minutes at the end of the season finale to thank you more than we normally do. The fact that we have been doing this for 13 years, almost 14. And by the time we join you again, it will be the start of a new season because the anniversary comes up in July. I can't say that I'm shocked that we've been doing it this long because this really is me pursuing a dream. It was from the beginning. I have been fascinated with radio and talking as long as I can remember. And from the inception of this show in July of 2010, watching it grow, watching it evolve, and watching it persevere it is my joy. Being able to talk to others about podcasting and helping others start podcasts. Talking to a few people right now that want to start their own shows. Being able to impart that knowledge on others brings me joy. Because a blessing ain't a blessing if you can't share it. We will do this as I like to say, as long as y'all have us. You know, getting to do this with people that I hold in very high regard, people that are family to me, whether it's Alex or Don or anybody that's ever been a part of this show. No one's ever been a stranger to this show. You know, it gives me an excuse to see people I don't get to see much sometimes. This has brought me joy since day one. I mean, and if you really think about it, if you really go tally everything up, the Cheap Podcast, when it was still a separate show, 166 episodes. This is 669 episodes. So 769, a little bit over 800. Add another 600 for when we used to do remotely reviewed and iTunes exclusives. That's almost 1,500 episodes of this show. The average podcast lasts 11. Not 1,100. 11. Now, the pandemic brought those numbers way down. But as long as you keep listening or you keep watching, we'll keep doing this. And even if you don't, we probably will anyway. Because we can. It's the beauty of what we do. Whether you've been a part of this show, whether you've been a guest on this show, whether you have attended a live remote show, whether you've been an amazing person to sit down with us when you don't have to at one of these live remote shows that we've done. We've got to talk to some awesome people as a result of this show. Thank you. You guys make it all worth it. That's why you're the Empire. Whether you've listened once, whether this is your first time, whether this is your 1,500th time, we're just glad you're here. You keep coming around, we'll keep hanging out. Alex, you want to add anything?
Well, and it's hopefully there's as much joy coming from watching it as we get to, just because we have these conversations anyways. We just want to bring everybody we can into it because it's always inclusive here. And to think God, how long have I been doing this? But
well, the Voldemort of shows was 2017. That's where you and I first met.
So and it wasn't long after that because it
was the spring of 2018. So you just passed the 6-year mark.
Yeah, and to think going from somebody who I had just met to helping fill in their welcoming me into their home. Nope, that way. into their home as the fill-in while Don, who is one of the nicest humans you will ever meet, handling some serious stuff for FEMA during when, Katrina and Houston really needed that help. Don was there, and being able to just be helpful to that point, and maybe having a couple of good fart jokes or whatever that got me to going from in somebody's house to being a TV show in a studio for Vocal before that wheel fell off. And then with modern technology, still getting to do this. And it really is enjoyable. If it wasn't enjoyable, you wouldn't see us.
He's not wrong.
And just as much, we have the people in our homes that support us doing this.
And we do this because of y'all. So tell everybody you know. Tune into the show. Subscribe to the show. Follow the show. All the things.
Jump in on social and comment with us. We'll let you on.
Yeah, we watch it. Like we don't just ignore our social media. Trust.
Just to prove our point. We will throw you up if you want to join the conversation.
And just one more shameless plug. Make sure that please follow my my YouTube channel. It's also Yes That Rob Irvin. I've been spending a lot of time the last few weeks putting up some of the panels that I've gotten to work. This week it's Revenge of the Nerds. And nice. that one was a lot of fun. And week after next, if I did the math right, got a really big one to share with you. One of my favorites I've ever done. That's only been 2 years, but still. We're going to be off the next 2 weeks. So the next time we all talk, it'll be season 15, episode 1. Amazing. So happy. So until next time, for Alex, for Don, for the Empire, I'm Rob. Clubhouse is closed. Tuesday was Brittany Palmer's birthday. Happy birthday, my friend.